Well, India is going to play their first pink ball test in Australia, and this gentleman here obviously will lead the side for the first test match, and obviously a very important part of the Indian side. Well, pink ball test, how is it different? Well, I was fortunate enough to be part of the first day and night test match played in India, Eden Gardens, as a commentator. Now, my observations are this: the first thing that hits you is the first session is actually the second session of a test match. That would be from lunch to tea. So lunch to tea, ideally speaking, is the best session for a batsman. That's exactly what happens in day and night test match. The first session becomes pro batting, which is unlike conventional test matches, right? First sessions, be aware as a batsman, but it's the other way around. So now everything else will change based on that fundamental strategic change, the first session. So now as a batsman, the first session, what you really would want to do is be more attacking, whether you're an opener or a middle order batsman. If you get an opportunity to bat in the first session, which is during the daylight, you have to be attacking. Otherwise, obviously, we all know that pink ball, because of the lacquer, there has to be more grass on the surface as compared to normal test match pitches. So the ball will do a bit. But the first session, you have to attack as a batting unit. Now, coming to the bowling aspect, the first session has to be a little more defensive. The second session onwards, the twilight, that's when it starts getting a little more difficult for the batsman. One, because twilight, it's a combination of daylight and the floodlights, so that becomes a little bit of a problem. A lot of players that I've spoken to, they say that is the toughest session because it gets a little difficult to spot the ball between daylight and the floodlight lights. So that's when it starts getting difficult. So as a bowling unit, that's when you get into the game. You're getting into the game in the second session, the second half of second session, and the third session obviously belongs to the bowler. That's where, as a batting unit, you have to have a good defensive technique. Bowling unit, you attack in that second and especially the third session. Now, strategy-wise, and I've heard this before, and I completely agree that suppose in this third session, an hour to go, you're 200, 220 for 7 or 8. What do? You play on. Chances are, if you're not expecting too many runs from your number 10, 11 or 9, 10, 11, then you might as well declare, making sure that your bowlers get a chance in the last hour of that day to attack the batting unit. Now, that is something that you would see a lot. And also because traditionally, as I mentioned, the pink ball does a lot. Obviously, you have to have grass on that pitch. So as a batting unit, you have to seize those moments. For example, as I mentioned, the first session, as a batting unit, you have to be aggressive because the second and third session, you got to give it to the bowlers. So it is a great idea, the day and night test matches, because the strategy is different. And that's where it becomes more cerebral as well. It's not just about batting well and bowling well, but strategy-wise, it gets very, very interesting. And this test, I don't think we